Why didn't my home sell? We'll cover that today on Frequently Asked Fridays. Why didn't my home sell? That is a very tough question to ask of yourself. It's a very tough question for me anytime I'm in that situation, addressing this with a client. If you are somebody that experienced putting your home on the market where it did not sell for one reason or another, I want to apologize to you on behalf of the industry. I know selling a house, as a realtor that's helped hundreds of families through the process, I know selling a house is not a fun endeavor even when everything goes right. And I can only imagine the pain and frustration when it doesn't go as planned. So I say that with all sincerity, but really the purpose of this video is just to give you kind of the things that I walk through with clients when we're sitting down and we're saying, hey, why didn't this work? Kind of what can we do differently? I'm going to give you the outline of what I go through with people and allow you to do kind of a self-audit as we go through this video. Of course, if you want a personalized audit, reach out to me, shoot me a direct message, comment below, reply back to the email, however you got this video. But let me give you kind of the points that we go through. So what we tell clients is there's really three elements to a successful home sale. And when a home doesn't sell, there's one of those three things or combination or all three of those things that we're missing. So they are marketing, condition, and price. And I'm going to go through all three with you. So first and foremost, marketing, if I can consult my notes here. Marketing is everything that's done to promote the property both online and offline, okay? And there's several different things that we do. I'm not going to go into our whole marketing approach on this video, it'd be too long, but we're really looking at the quality and also the quantity. The quality of the marketing that we're putting out, the media that we're creating, and then the quantity of, are we exposing the property to enough of the right people, okay? So we're talking about quality. Did we have professional photos? Did we have aerial photography if we have a property that lends itself to where an aerial photograph is necessary? You know, i.e. you got a good sized lot, you have a corner lot, you know, you have a big backyard. There's just a different dimension we can capture with drone footage these days. So you got to ask yourself, did I have that? Did you have a professional video tour? And this is not a photo slideshow that somebody can click through with still photos and some music and they kind of zoom in, zoom out. This is, can somebody, while they are online, zoom through the property, basically walk through the house, experience the property online before they even get to the front door. What we found with today's consumer is they've pretty much made up 90% of their buying decision before they even get to the front door. The showing at this point, or the home tour, is really just to confirm what I think the property is based on the online profile that I've seen, the online image that has been created. It's kind of like the car business these days. You know, people show up at the lot, they're not asking the salesperson to show them what they got. They already know what model, make, you know, features they want in the car, and they're literally just there for a test drive to confirm that the property is what they think it is. So that's what we're trying to create with the video, with the pictures. We're trying to engage somebody emotionally in the property online, and I promise you, if you don't do a good job of that, you're already losing opportunities with that. So that's that. Was the property exposed on all the correct websites, and was it pushed out there? Was there social media exposure? Now, this is not just, hey, my last agent posted it on their feed and maybe they have, you know, 10, 100 followers on their Instagram, their Facebook, their YouTube, their whatever. That's all good and fine. But really, did we take an outbound targeted approach of getting this property in front of the right people? So one of our cool strategies that we're working with right now, and you know, by the time you're seeing this video, this may have changed because this is an ever evolving, you know, area. But on Facebook ads, one of the cool things that we can do is we can draw a map around the home, you know, 15-mile radius around the home, because we know most people, by and large, move, you know, not too far from where they are right now, and we can run a targeted Facebook ad on Facebook and Instagram where we can get the property in front of people that have been searching on real estate search websites recently that live within this radius. So it's a very targeted approach of getting the property in front of the right people, and the marketing dollar stretches a whole lot further because we're taking a targeted approach of only marketing the property that have shown to people that have shown the intent of searching for homes. I'm not trying to take somebody that's not thinking about buying and sell them your house, because that's a big jump, but I would like to put your property in front of, or a property in front of, somebody that's already shown the intent of searching for real estate, and now we're just presenting your property as the right one for them. So that's one little strategy right there. So the question is, hey, can you, or forgot one, targeted approach to agents. So this is one that I feel like a lot of my peers miss, is making sure you're getting the property in front of the agents in the marketplace that are working with the buyers that you are trying to attract. So pretty much every year since they've been keeping stats, roughly 90% of all home sales, new construction included, have a buyer's agent on the other side of the transaction. So we do everything we can to sell our own listings, but 9 times out of 10, the buyer for our listing is going to come from a different agent. You know, as hard as we push, it is us versus 7,000 other agents in the Central Virginia area that we are competing against. So the odds are just that buyer somewhere out there already working with an agent. One of the cool things that we can do is we can pull a list of agents that a buyer set up on searches where your property falls within their client search. We can then pull that list. We can reach out to those agents and say, hey, you know, John Smith down at XYZ Brokerage, I see you've got a buyer looking at my listing. You might want to reach out to them. You may have a commission, you know, check to be had if you can bring us a buyer. So that is an approach of just getting the property in front of those agents. Now, will that buyer eventually trip over the property on Zillow? Sure. Will that agent eventually trip over the property on the MLS hot sheet? Sure. Is it effective to really wait for people to come to us? I would submit to you that it's not. You want to proactively get in front of them. So with going through all this, sometimes the question of, hey, Chris, is this really all necessary? You know, do we really have to do all this? No, you don't have to do anything, but you also don't have to get the result that you're looking for. So we found if we do all of the right things, we're going to get more of a marketing reach. We're going to get more people into the sales funnel. We're going to get more showings, which is in turn going to get more offers, which when we get a multitude of offers, we can then pick from the best offer versus having to negotiate with just the 1 or 2 so-so offers that we get. So that is marketing. You know, and it may sound like a lot on the marketing approach because it is. We have about 3 people currently that handle all the marketing for our listings. So that's one of the things you want to look at is, hey, if I'm hiring, if I hire an individual agent, do they have the capacity to do everything that needs to be done in order to properly promote my listing in a 2022 environment or at whatever time you're actually watching this video. So went in depth about that because it's something I'm super passionate about, but that is marketing. Next, we go into condition. So when we talk about condition, we're talking about 3 things. We're talking about staging, we're talking about needed repairs, we're talking about expected upgrades. So this is basically how a buyer perceives the home once they actually get to the front door and do a walkthrough. So staging, for our clients, we send out a staging consultant that basically just walks through the property with the client and coaches our clients on, hey, this is what we should do to make the property look its best when people come out and actually look at the property. So with staging, we're not looking to HGTV redo your whole life, but we are looking to do, hey, what small tweaks and adjustments can we make to put the property in the best light to ultimately get as many people through the front door and then have as many people as possible fall in love with your property and then make an emotional decision to write you an offer. As opposed to not. Needed repair, so one of the things that we do with all of our clients is when we first list a property or before we list a property, we'll go through the home with them and we will examine the property and see if there's anything that we should do as far as fixing a property before we list it. Now, there are some properties that we sell as is, but if a home hasn't sold, you got to take a serious look at, hey, are there things that are detracting people from this home? And a lot of times what we find with undone repairs is a lot of people look at it and say, hey, if they didn't fix the wood rot to even list the home, what's wrong with this house that I can't see? So that's something to look at. The other thing to look at is expected upgrades. So there's certain areas, certain price points where there's certain features that are expected, i.e. stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, renovated bathrooms, upgraded windows, the list can go on. Now, this is something you want to be very careful about because you don't want to over renovate, you don't want to put money in a home that you're not going to get back, but this is something that we'll look at with clients of, hey, we've got a dated kitchen, for example. Everything, all of your comps in this neighborhood have sold with upgraded kitchens, so therefore this is something that we need to do to sell the home, or this is something that we need to do to get the price that you want to get. So that's something that we'll do, but that's something that you can look at on your own if you're just watching this video for information. Last but not least is price. So couple issues that we find that a lot of people go through with price. And one of the questions I get, because we work with a good number of folks that have been on the market with other agents, is, hey, are you just going in and slashing the price? The truth is, no, we're not just coming in and slashing the price. Now, sometimes we do recommend price adjustments just because a home is overpriced, but kind of the mistakes that we make is we find that some agents or homeowners don't understand how to determine market value. You know, as a homeowner, myself included, we all have a bias towards our own property. Most people tend to think their property is worth a little bit more than maybe everybody else does, and that's just a natural bias. So you have to have an agent or an outside perspective come in and be able to speak a hard truth to you if needed of, hey, I know you want to get Y, but the property is only worth X, and here's why, and be able to explain that to you in an intelligent fashion. What we also find a lot of times, sellers don't understand what buyers perceive value in. So good example, kitchens and bathrooms. Those tend to have a higher perceived value than other upgrades that homeowners have made. And rule of thumb is if the buyer can't see it, they probably don't value it. So for example, we've had clients that have redone all the insulation. And while that's great and it's something that a buyer should care about, a lot of times they really don't. They're just looking at that light fixture or the granite counters or the new appliances or whatever. So you really got to understand the psychology of a buyer. And then last but not least, a lot of times we will see where homeowners or other real estate agents will use kind of false metrics or the wrong metrics to value a home. One that we see a lot, price per square foot. Everybody talks about price per square foot like it's the gospel. The thing to understand about price per square foot is that price per square foot does not include any non-livable square footage or any upgrades of the home that don't include within the price per square foot. So if you've got a screen porch, if you've got a detached garage, if you've got a fully hardscape backyard, those are all things that are not going to necessarily show up in that price per square foot metric, and therefore, and that is why, in our opinion, it's not the best metric to use to hang your hat on. It's a good place to start. I just wouldn't use that as your only metric to price your home. We will also see where a lot of homeowners will price their home too high. And what happens when we do this is that buyers will either write the property off saying, hey, I don't think it's worth that much, or hey, in this market where things are getting a bit above asking price, hey, that one's already way too high, I can't afford to go above it. Buyers assume that sellers aren't realistic or assume they can't negotiate. The other thing is that you got to understand how buyers search for properties these days. So most people are getting emailed alerts either from Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin, these sites, or they're getting emailed from their agent, and they're searching based on price brackets. So if they're searching for something, say 300 to 400, and your home, maybe it's really worth 400, but you've got a price of 450, there's a good chance that buyers might not even see your property because that is just getting cut right out of their search. And the only people that are seeing your property are people that are looking for 450 properties, and they look at your home compared to everything else that is worth 450, it's listed at 450, and it just doesn't add up. So that is kind of the fallacy of pricing high in hopes to negotiate down. And also you got to understand that time on the market works against you. So when you price it too high, a lot of times it will sit, and then the two questions that everybody or the question everybody asks is, what's wrong with this property? You also open yourself up to much more aggressive negotiation, because if you've been on the market for a little while and buyers don't feel like they're competing with anybody else, they're looking to come chop your legs off, versus if they are competing with other buyers or they perceive they are competing with other buyers, then it becomes a game of, I am no longer looking to negotiate with you as the seller. I am just looking to make sure I beat out my competition, and I just want to get the house. So that's kind of what happens when you can create a bidding war type scenario. So a lot of information. I hope it didn't ramble on. If you would like for myself or my team to come out and give you a personalized audit where we walk through and just say, hey, here's what we can do differently specific to your situation, go ahead, give me a phone call, shoot me a DM, send me a smoke signal. We'd be happy to do that. Hope you found this valuable. We'll see you next week.